Well, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is none other than Kasai Seeley, Sancho Smith, and Ryan Otterbridge, three young men who have come through the Bermuda National Athletic Association, as well as the Pacers Track Club, and plying their trade in the U.S. right now at various universities and colleges. First of all, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me this evening. I want to go to you, Sancho. I want to go to you, Ryan. Over the years, you're at Franklin Pierce, cross-country season. Is it similar to what you were used to in Bermuda?
First of all, good evening, everybody. It's not, to be honest. It's a lot different. Just because of the competition, really, when you're here in Bermuda. I'm not trying to knock Bermuda or anything, but like a lot of the times we're just like running against ourselves, really. And Seeley could tell you, like, when we were running here in Bermuda, we'll show up to Astor Park and like we'll just be running against each other, really. And we'll be in like two different age groups, and like we'll just be like racing, and then they'll do all the age groups, like they'll combine all the age groups together, and I'll be doing like maybe 4 laps. Seeley will be doing 3 laps, and it'll just be like no point. Like we'll just be like just running really like a tempo. Whereas like out here in America, you're running against like 200 people, 200 athletes. So like the competition's like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what that's kind of the point I was trying to direct you in, is the age group difference and what you're required to do. So, Sancho, let me ask you, as you go into your second year of university, did you have any words with Ryan about what to expect? Because as he already said, he talked to Kasai about the fact that now it's not about that age group. It's about 200 and on the average, Ryan, 225, 240 athletes on the line?
Yeah, I would say it could be a wide range. Like it depends on the meet too. Like sometimes you'll get to a meet with only like maybe 100 people. And then you'll get to like the bigger meets, like regionals, conferences, and then like my team made it to nationals, so we are competing against like the top athletes in the country, like all the athletes in the country, where you'll get like about 300 other athletes.
Sure. So Sancho, were you given that heads up because you would run away in your age group?
Yes, most definitely. It was. Before I left to go for school, I was training with Ryan and Seeley during the summer, getting my mileage in. And each run, they used to tell me, Joe, you got to pick up your mileage because that's going to be a big factor. Especially in cross country, you have high quality athletes. There's some just for cross country rather than cross and track. So really, you have to bring your A game and you have to be prepared for a shift, especially as an 800-meter runner. Personally, I was not expecting to be full in cross country, but yeah, it was definitely an adjustment going in.
Sure. And Seeley, let me come to you because Ryan actually brought you into the conversation about talking about, that cross country side. We're going to talk a little bit about cross country first before we get into the track side.
Yeah.
Was it an eye opener for you?
Yeah, for sure. Seeing as I spent the past 2 years in boarding school, that first year was a shock. It took a long time getting used to racing against 200, 300-year-old guys. And high school is like just everyone's there. Like you could have guys that range from like 19-minute 5Ks to like I had a guy on my team that went 14-20. So it's like you never know who you're going to race against any day. You just try to find your group when you race. But it's easier out there just to get faster times, and guys will pull you through a race if you're running with a group of 10 guys versus here, like Ryan said, you're running against yourself essentially. Or if you're lucky, you get one other guy in your age group.
So let me ask you, Steve, because you said somebody could pull you through.
Mm-hmm.
it's up to whether or not you want to put your body and your mind through that threshold, isn't it? Because you
Yeah.
get comfortable in Bermuda, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think like I've definitely said this since being abroad and then coming back. It's a ceiling that we have here in Bermuda. You know, it's like a certain level that you're able to get to, and once you hit that level, it's only, you know, it's a minimal increases that you can make, minimal progress that you can make. Versus going to America, I noticed a ultimate shift of a crazy difference between my training, my habits, like just, you know, everything. It even erases itself. It's just, it's a big shift.
I'm gonna come back to you, Ryan, because your coach is also Dej Minus's coach, and he's put a lot of time into Dej and given him a lot of time and so forth. Putting that extra effort in, I mean, he demands a lot from you guys, you know, as athletes. Were you expecting what has come out, you know, from this time you started? Were you expecting that?
I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. Obviously, I talked to Dave before going out there, but like it's a big difference from being here in Bermuda. Like I, when I first went out there, I saw growth. I started to improve tremendously. Like as soon as I got out there, like as soon as we started to build that base, started to build my mileage up. Like when I was here, I was probably not even reaching 20 miles a week. Now I'm running like 70 miles a week. Like during cross country, I'll probably hit like 80 miles a week some weeks. And I've just seen the growth like every single season. Like my freshman year was kind of hard because like we didn't really get the opportunity to compete because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sophomore year was kind of a shock to me, just because like the amount of work we had to do, like races every single weekend, the competitive races every week. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've
So
definitely seen it in growth.
definitely. So Sancho, Clayton State. What attracted you to Clayton State?
Really, I chose Clinton State because its location. I always desired to go to school in Georgia, specifically Atlanta. Also, I had the opportunity to visit during my freshman year, where I met the coaches, the staff, some of the athletes, and since then I felt like I had my mind kind of made up as far as I always saw myself there. So a big portion of it is location as well as the coaches. Yeah.
Sure. So let me just say, Ryan attends Franklin Pierce. Sancho attends Clayton State. Cause I got a little birdie told me you signed on to a new school.
Yeah,
You ready to say what that school is?
I would say I just graduated from Christ School in Asheville, North Carolina. So in the fall, I'll be attending University of North Florida in Jacksonville, and I chose that school one because the coach of that school, Coach Aaron Evans, the current 800-meter record holder of Bermuda, and two, you know, I wanted to go Division 1. You know, and Ryan could tell you at the college level, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, it doesn't matter, especially in distance running. I think distance running, especially, it really doesn't make a difference because you can have a guy that goes to a D3 school that runs like 350 in the mile, and then you can have a guy that goes to a D1 school and can't even break full. So it's like, you know, it doesn't matter. But for me personally, it was a personal thing. I really wanted to go Division 1, and UNF's a good opportunity for that. It's low key. It's not as big as, you know, some schools out there like Florida or Georgia. You know,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, a couple of damn schools, but it is a good environment. I visited this school right before I came back after graduation. Talked to the coach, had a good conversation, and I really like the situation I'm in. I can't wait to get started in the fall.
Sure. So Ryan, let me ask you. Okay, so you know a few people from Bermuda had gone to Franklin Pierce. What guided you to that particular institution when you were deciding what school you wanted to go to?
So yeah, like I said before, I was kind of working with Dr. Evans. He was helping me look for schools. And I talked to Dave Marnus. I also talked to Destiny. Destiny attended. She just graduated from Franklin Pierce.
Yeah.
And I just like what they had to offer, really. I also spoke to the coach. I really like what he had to say. He's good at his job, really. He's the athletic director. He's the athletic director at these schools, so he's good at like recruiting. You know what I'm saying?
He's good at convincing you what you need to know.
Exactly. He's good at convincing people to come to the school, right? And so yeah, they just persuaded me to come to the school, really. I definitely didn't choose to join the school because of the weather. That's why. But yeah, it's just like a small environment. Yeah, it's just like a small environment. Like the team atmosphere, like the bond. It's like a family, really.
So Sancho, let me ask you. After your first, I would say, your first 2 cross country meets, what was your mindset about the school, the location, and everything? Because now you're almost becoming, and Ryan would probably attest to this, and because I probably, you're almost like a professional athlete, because when you go on the road, but you still got to, you still got to do all those other things for school. So after the first 3 meets, tell me about what your mindset was. And I'm only asking this because I want young people to understand what it is you guys go through, being a student athlete.
Yes, most definitely. I would say, fortunately, SOTUS has prepared me in balancing that academic workload as well as my athletic endeavors. So constantly being on the road, balancing, being aware of exams, assignments, studying material ahead of time, it was an adjustment for me. I always talked about it, felt like I was strong in it, but I did struggle at first, I will admit. But really, it's important to stay on top of your grades, because if you fall behind a certain amount of credits or stuff, you won't be eligible to even run. And that's things you have to take in consideration. Also, as a student athlete, you're not just an athlete. At the end of the day, you're still going to college to get a degree to do something beyond your career that's there that you could show for. And just slacking off thinking that track or your athletic endeavors is all you need to focus on, it's really going to put you at a disadvantage as far as understanding that balance and time management. So the first 3 meets, it was definitely an eye-opening experience as far as early morning sessions, going to school, going back training, that same night going study hall just to study for exams or stuff later on in the week, because every week's something new. I embrace it now. I actually look forward to going back to it, but it was definitely something to keep in mind as a student athlete.
All right. We're gonna take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more with Ryan Otterbridge, Keziah Sealy, and Sancho Smith. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son is bringing us something fresh and exciting for the new year. Vi Antioxidant Infusion Beverage. Vi delivers the natural antioxidant benefits of the coffee fruit in glorious combination with a variety of exotic fruit flavors, with only 1 gram of sugar and 10 calories per bottle. The folks at Vi are inviting us on a world tour through these amazing flavors. Brasilia blueberry, Zambia Bing cherry, Costa Rica clementine, Malawi mango, Panama peach, Ipanema pomegranate, Kupang strawberry kiwi, and more. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. Ryan, as one of the first to go out of this group here, take us through your expectations of yourself, especially the first year. Okay, so COVID would have knocked you out of that first year. The second year, take us through the expectations of yourself.
So yeah, going into my freshman year, it really wasn't nothing really, just getting used to being in America really, and like the team environment, and like building up on mileage and stuff, and getting like the intensity in the workouts. And then my sophomore year was actually my freshman year for cross country, since we didn't compete my freshman year. So it was actually considered my freshman year. So like I was just going in as a freshman. So I really didn't have any expectations really. I just like give it my all, like see how I can like help the team really. Because cross country is a team sport.
Right. And it's not about you want to place as high as possible because it's all about points, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like top 5 scores, so I was just like trying to be in top 5 on my team at conferences. And then I actually didn't make it to conferences because like something happened the race before.
Okay.
But so yeah, my sophomore year wasn't the best, but going into my junior year, I actually had a really good season. I placed 5th in my conference, which got me all region first team, and I placed 8th in my region, which got me all region recognition. And I played a huge role in helping my team qualify for national championships.
Sure. Before we get into the track and field, because I think that's where you guys really shine the most. Central, let me ask you, the courses that you would have done in Bermuda, we all know what we do: the Arboretum, we do Fort Scholar, Botanical Gardens, Asper Park.
Oh, that's the
So
best.
when you're on the start line of a race in the U.S., does any of those courses like recollect in your mind of what you're about to do?
So before going abroad, I would say I wasn't really involved in cross country that
Right.
much.
Yes.
But I would say that I felt comfortable and relaxed and trusting my ability to actually be able to perform and compete with my team going in. I was nervous in my first race because what am I to expect? I'm in university for the first year, cross country for my first time since I want to say middle school. And honestly, my team members, they allow me to feel more relaxed, and that also showed in my performance.
Mm. And Celie, what are the things you like to do in Bermuda? Was that cross country? It started your season off. It's one of the things that we start our, well, everybody pretty much starts the season off in that form of cross country. Did you find those courses in North Carolina challenging, or were they just another run compared to Bermuda?
Compared to here,
Uh,
those courses hurt. uh, most of the courses were super hilly. Like all courses have hills in them as well, but it's, I don't know, because starting a race in Bermuda versus starting a race in America is a completely different scenario, because in America you're racing 200 plus guys and you're all trying to funnel into this small space after like 150, 200 meters. So it's not really like you're trying to get off the line super hard, which is like what we're not used to here. And then you gotta keep that pace, or like try to maintain some type of, good pace throughout the rest of the race. But that's difficult when you got hills that are 400 meters long and you've never done anything like that before, especially being here. But no, if you, in comparison to Bermuda's courses, they don't compare at all. They're very difficult. They aren't fun to run, but they are. It is good to have a challenge sometimes, and I was glad that I had the opportunity to run on some of those courses, because now I'm somewhat prepared for heading into college.
And Ryan, you got to teach him how to use his wings.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It might surprise you, but the college courses aren't that hilly, because they design them for fast times. So they'll be pretty flat for the most part. Like the most challenging part about it is like the weather conditions. Like out in New England, you're gonna be competing.
His darn sunny country, man. His darn sunny country.
In Florida,
and in Seattle, for the national championships, it was snowing. So,
oh yeah,
my feet were cold. That's the most challenging part.
Right. So let me ask you. Okay, so you get in this condition. You've never been in that environment before, because it's now icy. What advice is given to you to make sure that you're well prepared to run a cross country race? What is it, 5K?
In college, it's a 10K, 8K and 10K. Yeah.
So what advice is given to you by the coaching staff that will get you through 10K with frozen feet?
Through the mud and snow?
Yeah.
Well, for cross country, you have different lengths of spikes. That's something I didn't know until I went on there, because in Bermuda we run in flats. And so you'll have like these long spikes that are meant for those types of conditions, right? So when I went to Seattle and it was snow all on the ground, and the snow was mixed in with mud, my coach gave me these long spikes. I can't remember the length of them, but I think it was the longest ones they had. Like they were like really long. It shocked me how long they were.
So now you have a different environment, because now you're running on something that's gripping. You're a middle distance to long distance runner in Bermuda. Was that one of the first times you ever had spikes on your feet?
Oh no, I've worn spikes before. Even before running collegiate cross country, because Celie and I went to an AAU championships, high school championships in Tennessee, and that was really muddy. Celie would tell you it was slippery. Even with these spikes on, we were sliding. So I was kind of used to running on spikes and on the grass, the cross country supporters.
Celie, he keeps pulling you in, Celie. Like you guys are partners in crime, like
it sounds like weird, but we train a lot together. A lot of trips. We've been on too many trips to count. This is my training partner right there. So it's a lot. It runs deep. A lot of training deep. A lot of hours put in. A lot of mileage put in. definitely helping each other get better.
Sure. So let me ask you: do you guys communicate after races of how you done, what you could have done better, what advice, if any? Because where you all run, it's always something different. There's always different elements going on. But how often do you guys communicate to kind of get that vibe of, okay, this is what I done in these conditions. You might face them not next week, but in a few weeks' time. So how much do you guys communicate to let each other know? Because Bermuda's a small network.
I
Like
can
often,
answer.
I would say, honestly, between us, we all have like healthy rivalry, I would say. So as far as competing our times, improving upon it, we criticize each other as well, which I feel like is very necessary.
Yeah.
But most definitely.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to hit up your boys after you run a good race. You run a PB or whatever. Let them know how well you did. Got congratulations, and they big you up and everything. So it's always good to let them know how you're doing, and if you had a good race or if you had a bad race, sometimes it's good to let them know.
Do you always get congratulations when somebody has a stinker that they don't even want to come on live?
I mean, I'm definitely guys are definitely said we had stinkers, but at the end of the day, if you joke around, it's always good love. Like it's always good fun. Like we just want to see each other get better at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep in contact all the time.
Yeah.
Like even for workouts, like after a workout I'll do in New Hampshire, I'll like message them. I'll be like, yeah, I did this. We had a fast one at the end. I split a 51 on grass. Like, yo, we contact each other all the time. And I hit these guys up before they competed at Corrifta. After the races, congratulated them, gave them tips before the races.
Coach Ryan.
Yeah, Coach Ryback.
But looking at it, I mean, you guys, although different ages and everything, you kind of all grew up under a program where you guys are now really, really good friends because of competition. Competition as being middle distance and distance runners and so forth. But take us through, and I'm going to start with Sancho, and then I'm going to go to Kazai, and then come to you, Ryan. What's the difference in training from being in Bermuda? And I'm talking just cross country. I'm not talking track, because we're going to talk about track when we come back from the next commercial break. So cross country, what's the difference in training?
So I would say being here, like when I first joined Pacers, I was the youngest. So I was constantly, had competition because I'm trying to keep up with all my older counterparts. And as everyone ages out, you start seeing it progress, slow down as well, because you lose that incentive to keep going and chase that next athlete or catch up and improve yourself. So I would definitely say being away, I'm surrounded by athletes that's just better than me. That's just what it is. And that's where you see growth at the end of the day. You don't ever want to be the fastest on the team, because then what's it show for? So I would definitely say it's that incentive of just having a good team around you is necessary for you to really see improvement.
Sure. Kazai?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know Ryan's they're gonna give me stick for this because I always mention his name, but I had this teammate named Rocky Henson. He's 18th U.S. high schooler to go under 4 minutes in a mile. So if you're chasing that type of guy in training, you're constantly trying to be like that. That guy's constantly pushing you every day at training. You can only get better. But to touch on the fact of the training difference, here you get, more track workouts even in cross country season, you get track workouts. Out there, we didn't touch a track from August to, I say, October, November, until indoor season started, honestly. If we did, we used like the inside, like the grass part of inside of the track. Like, we never touched the track. My coach has made sure we did a lot of mileage on our trails, and We had a good amount of trails on campus, off campus, 50 plus miles a week, 60 plus miles a week, getting in that many miles, making sure, but at the same time, maintaining a bit of speed in your legs, making sure, you can have something at the end of your race in a cross country race, because somebody's always going to have something at the end.
Sure. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll actually say one of the biggest differences isn't actually during the cross country season, but before the build up leading up into the season, and that happens during the summer. A lot of people might think that just because we're all from school, then we're all for training as well, but the summer training's like probably the most important part about our cross country season, really, because we're building that base, like doing mileage, the tempers, fartleks, like that's all important. Like going into your season opener. And another thing is out in America you have like a lot of like trails and stuff to run on. Like sometimes we drive like an hour away from campus just to get a workout in.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more with Sancho Smith, Ryan Otterbridge, and Kasai Sealy. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
Here's one of our favorite feature brands, true veterans of the food awareness movement. Bob's Red Mill, the U.S. leading miller of organic whole grain foods. Only whole grains have the entire value developed during growth. And once you try them, you know that this is the way food was intended to be. Try Bob's Red Mill blanched almond, whole wheat pastry, and artisan bread flours, and 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour, unsweetened shredded coconut, gluten-free homemade wonderful bread mix, and a variety of rolled oats. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Let's turn our attention to track and field. Something that all you guys grew up on, excelled in and everything. Ryan, I'm going to start with you only because you've had the 3 years at Franklin Pierce. Obviously, your first year would have been wiped clean because of COVID and so forth. But looking at your growth, at yourself, look in the mirror. How much have you grown in the sport on the track since you've been at Franklin Pierce?
I've grown a lot. I actually, tremendously. I actually did compete my freshman year. Well, not indoors, but outdoors. We had an outdoor season. But yeah, I'll say just learning how to race, really. Like being in Bermuda, it's like you'll get ready for Carifta and just running laps around the track by yourself, like running against the clock. Just doing a time trial, really. and that gets frustrating because like you'll go to Carifta expecting to like do well, but you haven't like had any competition, like you haven't raced anyone. So like being out in America, like you're racing against a lot of people, and like they have meets. Like we go to some meets that are like specifically for distance runners. Like for indoors, we'll go to like Boston University, BU. That's like people travel all the way from Colorado to down to Boston just to run in this meet because it's like the fastest distance track in the world. So like yeah, and you'll get like probably like I don't know up to like 30 heats in the mile and like 10 heats in the 5,000, which is like crazy.
Mm.
So like just the competition really.
Right. So Kazai, let me ask you, because obviously Ryan had a couple of years, especially indoor.
Yeah.
Explain to me your first experience in an indoor track.
Well, officially, my first experience was with Pacers at the Armory in New York.
Right.
That was about maybe 2019, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But indoor track with my school at Christ School again, it was a shock. You know, it was way more competitive than when I raced at the Armory when I was like 14, 15 years old. Guys are physical. Guys are physical in the track. You don't really think of track as a contact sport, but guys throw elbows, guys shove, guys, you get spiked up. You end up looking at your shins after you race and you're bleeding because it's so tight in there. Everyone's trying to be the first one off the band in that first 50 meters or whatever. So it's a challenge. It took a while to adapt to. Get used to being in those type of situations that you're uncomfortable in. But once you understand that it's racing just like any other time, you just gotta be way more aggressive and you gotta just learn how to race like Ryan was saying, because you're not racing against anyone honestly.
Sure.
You got so many guys that run close to your time could pull you into a faster time, so you're just trying to hang on for real.
Sure. Sancho, Kazai said something very, very interesting. Starting of races, especially distance on the track, it's not a lot of room. When would you say your mindset changed that I have to get physical, especially at the start, and not allow these guys to push me to the back of the lung? Or have you gotten to that?
I would say my first race, I was intimidated going to indoor season. I didn't know what to expect. As Kazai said perfectly, that's when I really learned that track is a contact sport. But initially, I feel like indoor season just showed me how to compete again and become competitive. Because I was nervous, especially for my first few meets. But if it wasn't for them like that, putting myself in different scenarios, getting boxed in the back or starting up front, it gave me the confidence to go forward throughout the rest of my season. So definitely played an imperative. Yeah.
Sure. And Ryan, let me ask you, that you're up in Kill Country, especially when track season starts, because now you're indoor. That physicality of starting a middle distance race, you're not the tallest of guys. So do you? Well, you just suck it. Hey,
I'm up there, man.
Huh?
I'm up there, man.
You up there now?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Last time I saw you boys,
I'm like 6'2".
You what?
I'm like 6'2", man. I could be in the NBA.
You mean 2'6"? You ain't 6'2", you're 2'6". But on a serious note, the intimidating part of it, I mean, here you come. How do you manage that? When did your coach tell you have to be more aggressive, especially at the start?
But in all seriousness, though, some of these distance runners are actually pretty big and muscular. And indoors, it's like really compact, and it's like a crazy environment. Like, and some of these heats are like really big, so like you gotta get out like as soon as the gun goes, or really you gotta get out as hard as you can. Like it's a race to the front, really. And then like once you get to the front, then you lock in and then get in your like rhythm. And like it actually caught me off guard once because like my first well, not my first Carifta Games, but my second Carifta Games, I actually like experienced that physicality and by some of the athletes, and it like caught me off guard because I wasn't like really used to racing at the time. But like being out in America, like I'm used to racing now, and I've actually like thrown a few outdoors myself, really. So yeah, and my coaches actually told me that I'm becoming a better racer.
Oh.
And that's very important indoors.
And see, they didn't tell him he was getting taller. They just said he's becoming a better racer.
Yeah, it's all right, man. He knows he's
my coach would tell me
6'5".
My coach would tell you I'm a track 6'5".
Right.
Track 6'5".
A track 6'5" runner?
Indeed. Indeed. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. A track 6'5".
Hey, you guys better get on to your school and tell this coach stop lying to you.
Hey, you're violating.
Nah, but I lied. He didn't say
that. And a lot of people might not know. I mean, getting to know you guys like to have a lot of fun, talk a lot of,
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the business, hold on. This is what you need to see, mate. That's what you need to see.
Oh, big time.
I don't have time for this negativity, man.
Huh?
I don't have time for all that negativity.
Okay, I tell you what.
As long as I'm confident, that's all that matters.
And listen, and that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to tell you you're not 6'2".
It's all right, man.
But let me just ask. And I'm gonna come back. I'll go to you, Sealy. In your first indoor track meet with your school, what was the night before? What was one of the things that you kept telling yourself you cannot do in your race?
I mean, I feel like it's a lot that you tell yourself, but the main thing was don't get boxed in. Or try not to get boxed in. But as much as you think about it, it's a completely different thing putting that, to, what I'm saying, putting it on the track. Mm-hmm. And your assumption of the pace that these guys are going to run is not always accurate. So you might think that they're going out at a certain pace and they go way faster. And so you're caught off guard. But you also don't want to get out too crazy because then it's like you don't want to be at the front, and then everyone's just tailing you the whole race. So, it takes a bit of strategy, a bit of learning. It takes experience. You're not gonna get it your first race or your second or third, but after a couple of races, you kind of pick up on how it should, how you should race. Mm-hmm. And I want to add, getting out, like how you position yourself in that first 200 to 400 meters, depending on what race you're running, it could make or break your race. Because I'm been stuck behind a pack for 400 meters and in a mile. And you think that everyone's just going to spread out and you're going to find room, but you don't. And it's super boxed in and it's only this much space. And then your race is done. Like, you can't even do anything about it. I was talking to my Uncle Steve, and he says the longer the race is, the more mistakes you can make. Like, but if you're running the 800, Chill could tell you, Ryan could tell you, you ain't got that many mistakes in you. You might have one or two, if you don't get off the line fast enough, or if you don't, get in the right pack, like get in the pack at the right time, or make your move at the right time, then that could be your race right there. Because you're trying to play pickup.
Yeah. I'm going to ask each and every one of you, but I'm going to start with Sancho. Sancho, what could challenge you, or what would have challenged you when you were running in Bermuda, week in and week out? Yeah, as Kasai already said, and even like Ryan said, you're running against the clock, but it's nothing like competition. Competition changes your whole mindset of how you're going to run this race. So what could be done in that instance to change the mindset of the local runners, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I believe we should keep pushing what's there beyond high school, as like what can track actually do for you. Because before going into high school, I was always skeptical about like even going to college as it was. Thankfully, I had guidance from Mr. Lewis at Soltis, who showed me through the NCAA portal and all the different rules and regulations I have to follow by. And then Dr. Evans also, they just kept me focused on track. After high school, there's somewhere you could be from this, and you get paid from it as well. I feel like that aspect of it kept me going, because Bermuda, after a while, I always had my mind made up that I wanted to leave, because it does get to a point where you feel like you're stagnant. The competition's gone. You're just competing against yourself every week. Discipline does kick in because you do run out of motivation. So that's one benefit I would say about it. But honestly, I feel like we need to push the agenda of going to school after high school and using track to take you there. That would be a good incentive for a lot of athletes.
So Celia, let me ask you similar question. What's your thoughts, your opinion
on getting athletes to?
Well, what needs to be done on the local front to improve those athletes?
I say getting them out of Bermuda to race. It's fundamental. It's important, because especially if these athletes want to run in college or have aspirations of running in university, they can't be in Bermuda and think that this is gonna get them to the next level, because it's not. I'm gonna be honest, like this is like just straight up truth. Like, you have to race outside of Bermuda. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in races that you don't know anyone that's like here. Who's gonna show up on the line on a Saturday at the track. You don't know who's gonna show up on the line on any given day in America. So you can have someone in your race that's gonna blow you out the water, or you could allow them to drag you to a faster time, or you could have someone that you could look at people and think, oh, they're gonna beat me today, but really they're just like fun. It's not real. But I think racing outside of the country is a big factor when it comes to advancing our athletes, especially at a young age, because the sooner you experience it, the better off you'll be. Like, we've been going to East Coast since we were, I know me as young as 9, probably Ryan probably younger than that. I know Choking in middle school. So even that, that small, not small meat, but like, that meat itself helps you to progress at a young age. It helps you realize, okay, Bermuda's not, where you need to be thinking about beating people in Bermuda. You need to think about beating people outside of Bermuda. And, that type of thing.
Sure. What about you, Ryan? That first experience?
Yeah, I'll just say just taking groups of athletes abroad just to get that like exposure of races and like competition. Like Celie said, the Bermuda Pacers does a very good job with that, of sending a group to East Coast, North Carolina every summer, from like old ages leading up to college, like all the way from like 8 or 9 up until like 17, 18. And also like bringing athletes from abroad down here. I know I saw that during the cross country season, we had an AAU team show up for a cross country race to compete against some of our local athletes. That was really good. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we have some more coming in this weekend to compete at the national championship. So that's
Yeah.
like really good for our athletes and our younger athletes who may not have like the competition to have like just race against other people. Like it gets boring seeing the same faces every race you run.
Yeah.
And like just like getting to race against different styles of runners, really.
Well, yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of the Honest That Sports Show with Sancho Smith, Kazai Sealy, and Ryan Otterbridge. We'll be right back.
It seems everyone knows someone who's lactose intolerant or just avoiding dairy products. And fortunately, there's a growing array of delicious and nutritious alternatives. Pacific Natural Foods have been doing things their own way simply and sustainably for over a quarter century, making non-dairy beverages with the finest possible ingredients right down to the packaging. Try Pacific Natural Original and Vanilla Hemp Milk and Almond Original Plant-Based Beverage, all sweetened or unsweetened, and low-sodium organic vegetable or chicken broth. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for.
It's putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
And welcome back. Well, gentlemen, this coming Friday and Saturday will be the national championships as well as the Bermuda Challenge. Will all of you be taking part?
I'll
Ryan.
be running the 5K.
You're running the 5K?
Yeah, I'll run the 5K on Friday night.
Yeah, I'll be doing the 5K 1500 double.
Okay. Sancho?
Unfortunately, I will not be competing for this meet due to injury, but I'll be there to support.
Okay. All right. Now, having the opportunity to compete in the national championships, obviously, clearly, you always want Bermuda's top athletes, senior athletes, to be involved. Unfortunately, that won't be the case this year, other than I believe Gage Miles is taking part. But running in front of your home crowd, you guys don't always get that opportunity. What is it like? And Ryan, let me ask you. You took part in the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby. Just getting that feel of what that race is like. Take us through your experience.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the atmosphere is just crazy. And just like the support you get from the local community, it just like drags you along, really. Like it's like nothing like it competing in front of your home crowd. And it's just like throughout the entire course, like it's just like nothing but like people, and like just people like screaming out to me, like saying my name, just knowing that like the people on my island like support me, like that's just like a great feeling. And like I also
not to cut you off. Could it actually hurt you at times? Because when you think you should take the paddle off, hearing your name, you kind of put that paddle down.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you see like a big group of people, like just screaming out to you, like just get that rush of adrenaline and then just like step on the gas, and then you'll just like it'll take your mind off the race, like, and you just want to like show off for the people, you know what I'm saying? And like whereas like you just need to lock in and like get in your rhythm. But yeah, it's like, but it's a good feeling though, having the support. And I also had the support, and I competed in the Front Street Mile in January, and like as one of the local athletes, me and Dage, as they announced my name as one of the local athletes before the race, hearing the crowd cheer for me, it's just nothing like it really. It's just a great feeling.
How do you, and let me ask you, Kazai, how do you control those emotions? Because you've had opportunities to compete on, in the local soil and so forth, national championships. How do you control those emotions? Because you still have a race to run, and clearly you've watched professional athletes. When they hear their name, they wave, and they hit that switch off and hit that switch back on. How do you control that when it comes to these two races?
Well, you saying that, it just makes me think about Carifta. And obviously I wasn't on home soil, but I had a good bit of Bermudian representatives out there supporting me. I knew I had a good foundation behind me, taking care, making sure that they were supporting me the whole way. So that was a bit nerve-wracking, I'm gonna be honest. But I think a lot of the nerves go away when you realize that you're prepared for what you're about to do. Like as much as I was nervous to represent Bermuda and represent my name and my family and my school, I wasn't nervous to race, because I knew that the preparation that I had up to that point was prepared me to do well, and I did. So yeah.
Sancho, what about you?
Yes, to piggyback off what Sealy said, because we actually talked about this throughout Carifta, that we came to a realization that for the first time out of all our experiences, like in that moment at Carifta, we felt like we was actually prepared because of the work that was done beforehand. And going in, that allowed us to have a better opportunity as far as performing. As far as competing in Bermuda, I would definitely say it's a good feeling. I could go back to CUT games during middle school, doing high jump, having the whole crowd silence for one jump. And like that honestly meant so much to me. Relay classics, just even seeing my teammates compete as well, and just being in that atmospheres. I'm glad I got to experience that through my high school experience and middle school.
So before we go, I want each of you to express something that would encourage a 4-year-old you to get involved in track and field. A 4-year-old you get involved in track and field. Ryan, I'm gonna start with you.
You want me like give 4-year-old me some advice?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I would say to 4-year-old me is just like, it gets better, man. Trust me. Like, just stay consistent, stay determined. Consistency is key in this sport, and this sport is great. Like the traveling you do, like internationally, like it's just great. Like, and the opportunities you got from this sport, like you can get your education paid for at the collegiate level, and yeah, like just the traveling, and the traveling is amazing. Like the amount of countries you visit, and like it's just getting started for us, really. Like we haven't even gone anywhere. We're just like been to the Caribbean and like America, really. So we're just getting started. It gets better from here. So just consistency is key in this sport, really. Just stay consistent.
All right, Kazai, you heard your brethren.
I'm gonna be honest, like I question myself to this day why I started running track. Like sometimes it's definitely not what you want to be doing. Going out for a 12-mile run isn't always the funnest thing to do. But if I had to tell my 4-year-old self something, It'll be find your why. Like, it took me a while to find the why. Like, I would want myself to find my why sooner, if that makes sense. It took me a while to find why I like running, why I enjoy running. I should say love. Why I love running. Why it's the people you surround yourself with. It's Sancho. It's Ryback. It's Parsons. It's Cal. Gotta shout out my dogs. But it's deeper than just track and field. You build lifelong friendships, family relationships with coaches, friends, like people you never thought you would meet. Like, I never thought I'd be friends with a sub-4 miler coming out of high school, like someone that, was there to push me through my high school experience. And that's a lifelong thing that I'm going to keep with me. I'm going to stay in contact, But yeah, the relationships you build, finding your why, and like my why is family. I run because, my uncle was a runner. I see he takes a lot of pride in the fact that I run. I'm the only runner in the family. So I know that there's people that are here in Bermuda, abroad, that care about me as a successful athlete. So that's why, I persevere, and that's why I would hope that I find that at a younger age, so I could, help myself to drive even farther.
Let's see if we can coach you to that Bermuda Day half marathon title one day.
Man, maybe. That's a long one. I ain't gonna lie.
But let me tell you. Mike Watson used to be in all you guys' shoes. When he was going to school, he could not figure out how to win the race. It took him a good few years after coming out of school to figure out what he had to do to win that race.
Yeah, I don't think I'll run it while I'm in university. I'm gonna be honest.
Nah.
It'll have to be after.
Ryan convinced you not to run it.
Yeah. Nah, the collegiate season's just way too long, man. And like you get 3 seasons, like cross country. Like you're going hard, like all the way from September to May, like the middle of May. Like, so it's just way too long. You got cross country, indoors, and then outdoors. Like,
so before I go to Sancho, Ryan, when did you feel the 3 seasons during the Bermuda Day half marathon? When did you feel it?
Like, not even gonna lie, the first hill. I'm gonna keep it real. Like I swizzle in. Like I got to mile 6, and then it was just like, boy,
what I got myself into?
7 miles left.
All right, Sancho. All right, Sancho. What are you telling your 4-year-old self?
I would definitely say, remain unsatisfied. Always understand that you can improve upon yourself, not in the aspect of track, but just in life. Because I feel like just being in the sport teaches the importance of actually being disciplined, and like Celia said, having a why, becoming motivated to push you further. Because track, it could lead to something that's bigger than yourself. This sport honestly changed my life, though, as far as the people I met, the opportunities that it provided for me, and honestly, it was the best decision I could possibly make. And I just feel like it's necessary as far as character development from a young age to who I am right now, and even going further. So I would definitely say just remain unsatisfied, have fun, and understand it's a progress. So yeah.
Sure. Well, I want to thank you 3 gentlemen for joining me tonight. We'll see you at the track on Friday. Obviously, you guys are competing. Sancho, you'll be somewhere near me, giving them all the support they need, and the water they're going to need.
Yeah.
The water they're going to need, because
Give me that water.
Humidity ain't no joke.
Humidity is no joke. It is something. Oh man, you guys have been fortunate.
We feel it. Like we feel it. Like it hasn't even been hot, but we'll come back for a run, like looking like we jumped in the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's not even hot.
We had a run earlier today, like right before this call. Like I'm like, you're soaking, but it's got to get done.
It's all a part of the journey, though.
Yeah. They call humidity poor man's altitude, so we're going to take advantage of
altitude. We can't afford to go out. We can't afford to go out to Colorado.
Hey, Color. Bermuda's Colorado.
Yeah.
All right.
Look for the positives in it.
Thank you very much for joining tonight. We'll see you over the weekend. Good luck, and we'll be talking to you later. All right.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Okay.